Hello and welcome everyone to our Friday Labs Open Office Hour. This week we have Dr. Don Kinghorn, our resident scientific computing advisor, and just all-around cool guy. I was saying in the social media shoutouts that you're the coolest science guy next to Bill Nye.
Okay.
So I thought that was fun. It was
I
a
don't know
good
if I'm
rhyme.
that cool.
I think you're that cool. And so today's pretty cool as well because we get to show off something brand new that I think you've been working on for quite a while now, right?
Oh yeah, and continuous. It'll
Yeah.
it'll be on. It's ongoing.
It's our machine learning development server stack. Still
Yes.
trying to get the right pattern down for that. So, and this is so. What does that mean exactly?
Uh, hey, Houston, just
Uh-huh.
one thing. I'm not seeing your video stream.
Oh, that's my bad. Boop. There you go.
There he is. Oh, okay. I feel better now.
There we go. Now you
Yeah.
just
Oh,
like
yeah. I'm right at home now. Okay. Just like old times on Twitch,
yeah.
kind of. Except for you don't have a bunch of computer parts all over the place.
So,
Um,
what is this? What is this server machine learning development server stack, and what is all that, and what does that mean for everybody?
okay. I tell you what. I'll give you a little bit of the story. I do a lot of blog posts, right?
Right.
And the thing that I try to do there is I try to help people to do their stuff, to get stuff done.
Right.
And so I write these posts. And it's like, okay, you can do this and this and this and this and this. And the more complicated it is, the more like convoluted that gets, right?
Right.
And so I decided well, instead of doing that, I'm actually going to turn these things into projects and put them out there.
Okay.
Turn it into something that can be installed and set up and ready to go. So the main thing with this one is we're actually we're offering it as a turnkey install
Oh, cool.
addition onto a couple platforms. Pretty limited here. We're starting off right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But this is an ongoing project. I'm committed to it.
Nice.
I keep telling people this is what I'm dreaming about when I get up in the morning. This is what
Yeah.
gets me out of bed. So I've been working on this stuff quite a bit, and getting scripts set up to automate the installs and setup and all that, and trying to get something really nice set up. And it's looking pretty good.
Cool.
I've got a long roadmap for it,
Mm-hmm.
adding all kinds of cool stuff. But this is the first step, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's pretty useful.
I'm excited. This seems really cool. So how did this? So I suppose this is coming from rather than trying to help a bunch of individual people. This is going to be a bit more of a kind of one size fits all solution for a lot of the things that you've been helping out with.
Well, okay, this is let me kind of explain what the gist of this is.
Okay.
Now, in the title, right? It's machine learning development,
Mm-hmm.
and then server. Okay, that's kind of key here. This coincided with I started thinking about doing this. Coincided with COVID-19
Sure.
and everybody being at home and all that. It was coincidental, but it's the idea here is that you can have a machine. This is a server interface.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a base server install,
Okay.
and then I've got configured on top of that an administrative interface that's browser based.
Okay.
Okay, you just connect to this with a browser, and it's got a really simple to use, intuitive system administration interface.
Okay.
So really easy to add new users and stuff like that. This is multi-user. This is a
Oh, neat.
multi-user setup,
Yeah. Okay.
and so that's one component. that's to make it manageable and to make it less intimidating to people that maybe are not super Linux savvy.
Okay.
Because I'm using the Cockpit interface for the admin interface, and it's pretty simple, and I think it will serve some really nice purposes for people that could struggle otherwise.
Nice. Well, that's cool, because then it lets people kind of focus on what they are best at rather than try to fuss around with things that aren't really important to the goal. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. The the development server side of this is an install of a project called Jupyter Hub.
Mm-hmm.
And Jupyter Hub is a server configuration for serving Jupyter notebooks. And in particular, I'm using Jupyter Lab as a interface to the machine. So, and this is browser based, so remote connections, and it's like the standard machine learning data science interface.
Okay.
So this is all set up and configured, and it's turnkey. It's ready to go.
Nice. So just to interject, this would be the server development stack that we're talking about here is very similar to I think the past few articles that you've been writing about setting up your own Jupyter Hub server and notes and all that stuff. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. In fact, that's kind of what prompted me to do this. It was like, well, why didn't I just do it as a project?
Cool.
And right now it's something that we're installing turnkey. Mm-hmm. It will evolve into, a really nice public project.
Oh, neat.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll say that officially. But it should be. But yeah, we're trying to solve some problems for people. A use case for this, because everybody's working at home. We're working at home, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what if down at the office you've got your nice stuff, right? Your nice machines are down there, and now you're messing around, struggling, trying to connect to that stuff and get a good workflow going. And maybe you've got resources down there that now everybody's split. Everybody's at home now, so they want a shared resource.
Okay.
So a small team can work together on using the same hardware, and they can connect from anywhere.
Oh, that's
They can
cool.
connect from a laptop. You could connect from your phone. Although I guess I haven't tried that yet.
Ooh.
But it should. I mean,
Next
anything with a browser should be fine.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And and this is also something that would be good for like teachers. Okay, somebody's teaching a class on Introduction to Machine Learning or on Python or R or something like that. And so they've got a class or a lab or a workshop or something. They've got 20 or 30 students in there. They can add those students in with accounts, and then all of those students can do all their work on that machine.
Oh, neat.
And then an instructor could just put stuff, assignments and all that stuff right into the interface and use it that way. So a lot of use cases that fit into kind of the current state of chaos that we're dealing with,
Sure.
right? But in general, it's just kind of nice. It's not bad as a personal interface too.
Okay.
If you've got some nice hardware at home and you want to set this up, maybe you don't want it, sitting next to you in your office, or maybe you're working from your laptop sitting on the deck or something, right?
Sure.
This is a fairly nice setup for a power user going, man, I just connect to it, boom, I just log in, and now I've got all of that right here.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's nice. I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
This is kind of scratching my own itch here a little bit. And I've got a machine set up down at the office, and it's actually a configuration like that one of the the systems that we have spec'd out for install of this, and I, I'll like try to demo that.
That's cool. Oh, and that's what we're doing today. This is kind
Hopefully.
of the live unveiling of
Yeah,
our turnkey machine learning solution, and it's kind of exciting. I love it when we get to do untested science stuff.
It's an experiment.
Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, I installed it this morning.
Okay.
I set it up from home, set it up on that machine down there, and fired up just a couple things to look at it and see everything's working right.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, that's the state of it, and yeah, we can look at it.
Okay.
Do you want to jump over there and take a peek? So
yeah. Let's look at what you got.
Okay, I am going to move this interface over to the side here, and let me switch. Okay, I'm going to switch my video over to the OBS camera here, and bingo.
All right.
Seeing that okay?
Yeah, it looks right. It looks good to me. I see kind of a full desktop. Actually, this is this would be your WSL2 interface virtual machine.
I set that up.
Sure.
Okay, I told you this stuff was ongoing, and there's all kinds of things going on.
Yes.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things going on.
Okay.
Because I did this on WSL2.
Okay.
Just to to prove that, hey, yeah, actually it can do this.
Neat. Because it does look very familiar to our previous talk with you, Don, about showing off a little bit of that some of those machine learning tasks through. It was a Linux only Docker container and all of that stuff. So it's just, is this the same setup basically?
It's those same tools.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure what I showed you.
I think it was just a simple TensorFlow.
Yeah, but we didn't look at this interface.
No. It was the desktop. The desktop is what is familiar.
Yeah. That was just a demo, and I had Jupyter Lab running. That was not all the server setup.
Right.
That was Jupyter Lab setup. And that's when I was showing that, hey, the GPU support that Microsoft just added in for WSL2 actually does work, and it did work, and it's cool. I have also set up server stuff on WSL2. I've set some of this up. WSL2 doesn't have some its init system. It doesn't use system D.
Okay.
At least not properly. So there are some issues with doing some server stuff on there. But I actually did it old school init.rc stuff, and have a WSL2 version of this that is actually working. But that's later. That's later.
Okay.
And just kind of related to that, there's also, this is a server stack, and that's the idea. This is multi-user.
Right.
Okay, it's a multi-user server. I'm also going to do similar kind of setups for end user.
Okay.
Okay, user stacks. So it's something that's made just for like somebody doing this privately on their own box and just setting that same basic kind of interface. That will include a Windows setup too. I mean, one of my most popular posts is how to make TensorFlow work on Windows 10 without installing CUDA. I mean, that's
right.
I have hundreds of comments on there, and that's really a pain point for a lot of people. So I'm going to try to make that just download and click, and it's
awesome.
ready to go. But if you want to look at this, I can kind of talk through it here, I suppose. Let me see. Should I go? There we go. Full
that's
screen.
great. Yeah.
Does that look good?
Yeah. So now we see that full browser window is taken over.
Yeah. Let me show something very just to start off with here. Okay. I'm on Windows. I'm actually using Edge. the
Okay.
Edge browser here, which I, actually tell you the truth, I really like it. I like it a lot. Microsoft is doing a nice job on this. But you'll notice something that's sit up here at the very top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm connected to a machine down at the office. Okay,
Right.
I'm on our VPN,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm connected to a machine down there, and you'll notice this not secure HTTPS.
Sure.
That's because I am using certificates. I'm using SSLs. This is a little technical detail. I'm
Okay.
using SSL
Now
certificates.
there's no trouble in showing that IP address, right?
No, it's internal.
Okay.
Yeah, this is our LAN.
Okay. I
Um,
just I don't want John to get mad at me for if somebody
mm,
like.
no, that's yeah, and this rotates and all that
Okay.
kind of stuff. I mean, this is not. But the thing here, these I use self-signed certificates.
Okay.
Okay, because this is not on a public network. This is on a
right.
This is a
Okay.
private network. It's essentially
Right.
on our LAN.
Got it.
And so when you do that, browsers complain
Okay.
because they don't. Browsers have their own rules, and they complain about self-signed certificates. So you see this up here. You accept it into your trust cache when you first connect to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're fine from there on out. You don't have to mess with it. But that's what that's all about. That's just kind of a heads up there. But yeah, so I can go ahead and full screen this. This is the administrative interface right here. This is the login to it. So
Right.
I'm sitting at home on a Windows machine, and this is an interface that's running on an Ubuntu 2004 server down at the office.
Okay.
Okay, and I will log in there. And this is the system administrative interface for that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so this is, you can always you can secure shell into the thing and do all your command line magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is really actually pretty nice interface.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'll be doing some more customization on this interface too. This is a project that's being done by Red Hat.
Okay.
So this is an interface, a related interface to Enterprise Linux. Okay,
Someone
Ubuntu is supported. Ubuntu is a supported
Okay.
OS.
Someone did ask, is it running under Apache on Windows 10?
No, I'm only on Windows. I'm only using a browser.
Okay.
So this is all running on Linux down at the office, and it's just set up with sockets and all that in here. It's not actually running a web server. I mean, it is, but it's internal to the Cockpit interface.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope that's what you were, his question was about. This stuff doesn't work on Windows natively.
Ah.
So yeah, this is a way for like Windows users and Mac users and people with Chromebooks and stuff like that to actually be able to take advantage of high performance Linux hardware.
Okay.
Without having to really dive into Linux. This is just a simple interface to it. But anyway, this interface is really quite nice. You can see this machine here. This is a Pro WS. This is our 64L. That's the Intel with the high number of PCIe lanes. So
Right.
this thing has 4 GPUs in it, 4 2080 Ti's in there.
Okay.
and without a PLX switch, whatever. This is a great box. This is one of my. This is as far as the workstation goes right now. This is this machine, this system, and the Threadripper, the 32-core Threadripper.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two favorite workstation setups that we're doing right now.
Nice.
And I love both of them. They're tremendous. But we can't do 4 GPUs on Threadripper in a good way. We will be. We'll have an Epic.
Oh, neat. Okay.
We'll have a single socket Epic with 4 GPUs, and we're really looking forward to that. I don't know when that's coming down the pipe, whatever, but I really want to see that, and hopefully I just
really
put
cool.
some pressure on somebody.
Ah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff here. Logs. We can take a look at logs. This is the thing that always scares people when they look at logs and go, there's errors.
Right.
This is normal kind of stuff. But for example, if I want to look at
people would be a little surprised if they looked at their own Windows error log, at startup every time.
Yeah, you don't want to, this is one of the things that scares people when stuff goes by on the screen when you boot Linux. That's why they shut off all those messages
Right.
by default on desktop Linux, so users don't see it and freak out. But this is okay because I've been working on this for a long time, so there's tons of stuff in the logs. So the logging is good. I don't know why I'm not seeing my other service there. Oh, maybe that's because that. Throw one above. Oh, that's why. Oh, here we are. Yeah, these are all the services running on here, and there, here's Cockpit services that are running, and here's Jupyter Hub.
Okay.
So these are the messages that are coming out of Jupyter Hub right now. This is a nice interface for an admin that needs to keep track of what's going on in the machine. This is really pretty cool.
Right on.
There's stuff in here for configuring storage. Right now, this machine just has a single NVMe drive in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can add devices. You can set up array devices and do all kinds of stuff from in this interface. Networking, you can check your network traffic and all kinds of stuff, and I have one interface configured right now. There's another one on here. All your basic admin stuff is here. Oh yeah, and I've got a whole bunch of accounts for people on this machine.
Oh, right on.
Creating new. This is one thing that's really nice about this for somebody that's like, oh, I just want to set this up. I need to do a workshop, or I've got a class coming up. I need to set up some counts for some students or whatever. Boom, you just fill things in and it creates them.
That's super cool.
Okay, it's really pretty simple.
I love the idea of taking because I imagine a guy like me, I have no Linux experience whatsoever, and so it's really cool, and I'm sure there are other people who are in a similar position, and so being able to that looks just stupid easy. Like you just click the button, fill out the form, and poof, you have a new user that can just log in. That's really cool.
This is a pretty nice admin interface, period, even if you are Linux savvy.
Mm-hmm.
This is really nice, and it's also you may notice some of the stuff up here. You can manage multiple machines from here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's quite capable. It's quite capable. But this one right here, I would expect that people will make a lot of use of.
Right.
Because you can configure accounts, you can disable accounts, you can lock them up and do whatever. You can give people sudo access, remove that access, force password changes, all that kind of stuff. All that typical kind of thing you'd want to do on a multi-user system as an administrator, and this is actually a really, really simple way to do that.
I feel like an educational environment will be big for this.
I really, really like that use case.
Yeah, it seems like that makes the most sense.
It could solve some really serious problems that people are having right now. Just this kind of a setup, because people are, it's like, oh, I need to teach this class. How am I going to do this?
Right.
You know, you can set things up and try to have do things through with a cloud. But man, that's a pain, especially if you got to do a class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I hope some education people jump in on this, because I'd really like to help them. You know, yeah, I'm totally, like I said, this is my project.
Right.
I'm pretty passionate about trying to make stuff easy for people to use and get things done without having to deal with a lot of headache, because it really can be a headache. But yeah, you can do all kinds of things in here. Software updates. This is telling me right now I've got some updates I can run on there. If I want to fire this up, I could just boom, fire up these updates. If you want a terminal interface, boom, there you go. You've got your terminal.
Oh, right on.
So,
Okay.
So you can use this without even, firing up Secure Shell. So
Right
you actually really could use this from a Chromebook.
Right, because all of this is actually running on the machine in the office.
It's all running on the machine
through the browser,
and it's just a web browser.
Oh wow.
Okay, so yeah, so this is pretty cool. I like this. I like Cockpit. It's pretty clean, extendable, and I plan on writing some custom modules to it. There's a couple things I want to plug in myself. But I have to do that in JavaScript, which I'm not like super good at yet. Okay. But yeah, so this is I like it.
Yeah.
And I looked at a lot of things, and there's some other stuff like Webmin. It's way overkill. But this is nice and clean and to the point, and it solves the issues that come up that you need to do. Anything heavier weight than this stuff is going to require you to go to the command line anyway.
Okay.
So
just a quick recap. Scott Harkins on YouTube was asking, did you have a target use case on this build? And we may have mentioned it earlier, but just in case he missed it.
Yeah, target use case is okay. Okay, right now this is just the admin interface. Let me go ahead and pop out of here.
Okay.
And I'll show you the other part of it. Okay, Jupyter Hub is a server for Jupyter notebooks. Okay, so this is a multi-user setup to serve basically a standard. What is the most common machine learning interface?
Okay.
Okay, Jupyter notebooks.
Right.
Let me go ahead. I'll log in as me here. And yeah, and this is multi-user. Any of these users connecting from wherever they're, connecting from. Oh, I don't want you to see that. That was my thinking around reminder stuff here. Okay, yeah, I was messing around with this a little bit ago. Let's pop over here so you kind of see what's going on. This is, and I can go ahead and full screen this here. This is the interface that you see when you connect to Jupyter Lab. See, Jupyter Hub, that server, is serving up single user notebooks.
Okay.
So that's just served up this copy of Jupyter Lab for me. So this is my my system. Now these kernels that I've got on here, the TensorFlow 2, Anaconda Python, PyTorch, these things I've added globally, so every user on the system would see these. So if an admin user adds stuff into this interface, then everybody has it.
Okay.
But I still have full control of my environment here, and I can add stuff. I can add all of my own custom kernels in here for whatever projects I'm working on. Okay.
All right.
And just to give you a little tour of this interface. Okay, it's I have it set up to it's mapping the user's home directory. So this is my home directory on that machine down at the office. Okay, so I've got a bunch of stuff in here that I just been messing around with.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, here's some of the scripts and stuff
Mm-hmm.
for what set this thing up a couple hours ago. And there's tons of documentation in Jupyter
That's
Lab.
cool.
This is, all of the commands and stuff that are available. It's context sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there. There you can, if you've got like projects open that have, especially like Python, you'll be able to inspect properties and stuff like that. This is basically a browser IDE.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is my tabs, and then there's extensions for this. There's a whole bazillion extensions, so there's tons of stuff that you can do. I'm anxiously awaiting version 3.0 of Jupyter Lab because it will make extension management a lot easier.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, right now Jupyter Lab requires admins to add extensions. The user extension interface should be fully implemented in Jupyter Lab 3, which
Cool.
is like maybe 2 weeks away.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, they delayed their. I was going to launch with that, but they delayed their thing, because of all the craziness going on with them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But so that's basically it, and yeah, the help is really, really nice. There's tons of documentation in here. Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Jupyter Lab is nice. It's a nice interface, and yeah, let's go ahead and close that out. Let's see, nice things here. You can you can change your eye candy around and stuff like that if you want it. That's kind of a shock going into that totally dark setting. But I don't have
nice.
extra.
I like a dark theme.
I do too. I usually go for a One Dark Pro theme. This is a little bit too dark for me here, but there's tons and tons of add-ons for this, and this is growing. This is the new this is the main development interface from the Jupyter team.
Okay. Okay.
And this is not restricted to just Python. You get Python, R, Julia. In fact, Jupyter stands for Julia, Python, and R.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah, I see
and
that smooshed together. Sure.
yeah, and there's all kinds of other languages that are supported, other language kernels and stuff like that. So it's a pretty open interface. But again, here you can edit markdown files for documentation and stuff like that. This is a terminal here again. Okay, so this is another terminal interface into your account right there. Excuse me. And that's really handy. This stuff can be like, rearranged, shuffled around, stuff like that. So it's a pretty good interface. And in fact, this is a pretty common thing to have a shell open down here and then stuff that you're working on up here.
Okay.
You might be running some stuff. You could be. This is a Jupyter notebook right here.
Okay.
Let me actually close that. That's another one, but let's go back to the launcher. Oh, hey, I want that launcher up there. Let's close that guy out. Okay. But yeah, I could come in here, and then boom, I've got a TensorFlow to GPU accelerated interface to work in.
Nice.
Right. And you can see these are all the kernels that I've got installed in here right now.
Okay.
Oh, so interesting. Oh, yeah. Hey, there's stuff in here that
some
like,
other
oh, I
kernels,
like this. Um, discard that. Okay, but yeah, I can, see, I think I've got this one right here. Yeah, this is okay. This is just kind of a typical thing that you would run. This is
Yeah.
the MNIST training notebook here.
Okay.
I ran this before I filed stuff up. Let's see. I think I can just run this. Run all cells. Boom. Okay, this is executing. That's TensorFlow 2. That's actually executing it directly inside of TensorFlow. This loaded the database. It's all up. Created a model. This is basically a Linnet model for the MNIST digits, and it is running. Okay, so that's what's going on down here.
Okay.
That's quite a few epochs there. Well, that's not too bad. This shouldn't take very long. But so this is running. It's running on the GPUs over there. Let's see.
So
yeah, you can see the. I'm using one GPU right now. I mean, which is kind of overkill for this problem.
Sure.
But
oh, that's neat. So you're right now you're running a training model remotely on a Linux machine at the office from home.
From home on my Windows box.
That's cool.
With Edge.
Yeah. Right. All through the browser and stuff. That's neat.
Yeah. So this is nice. I'm pretty pumped about it. And the help thing, when you're in here, you get more context sensitive help. Like, this is, if you want to see the reference for NumPy, all that stuff pops up. That's because I'm in a Python notebook. So lots of context sensitive help. Jupyter Lab is pretty good. People use Jupyter a lot. Just the Jupyter notebook interface, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Jupyter Lab gives you, extra bells and whistles. It gives you the terminal, extra editors, reconfigurable screens, and stuff like that. So.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go. That training run took 63 seconds.
Right.
And better than 99% accuracy for the test, for the training data and the validation accuracy.
Nice.
This is a typical machine learning kind of thing. This is a pretty simple one here, but that's the idea. Now I can do something else here. If that's not really your cup of tea, a lot of people, myself included, have become like really addicted to VS Code, the Microsoft editor. I absolutely love that editor, and that editor has really nice tools for connecting to remote machines. And let me just grab that address there. Okay, this is a new VS Code window sitting right here.
Okay.
And there's a plugin there to allow for remote connections. And so this is Windows. I'm running VS Code on Windows right here, right? Okay, so now I can come up here and I can say, let's see, SSH connect to host. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Now I haven't done this to this machine, but let's see. This should be fine. Oh, popped open another interface. Yeah, it's a Linux platform. And fingerprinted, continue, yes. I'm sorry. I think I screwed up here. Oh, did it connect already? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. It's confusing me. Let me pop out of that. I'm sorry. I'm messing up here. Okay. Yes. course, they update this thing like every week. Oh, okay. We're crying out loud. Okay. Yeah, it's just asking me for my password. What am I doing?
Oh, okay.
Oh, why did it? Oh, they changed this. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know why it keeps doing this.
Huh? This is what happens when we do it live.
Oh, no. Okay, of course this is not going to work.
What?
Here, I'm sorry. Did you see what it was trying to log me in as?
No, I missed it.
Dawn.
Oh, and that's not your username.
That's not who I am. I'm sorry.
No.
I usually have this open from something.
That's Dr. Don.
Well,
you,
yeah. It's okay. This should be. Oop! Hey, get out of there. Okay. My account over there is Kinghorn.
Right.
There we go. Okay. So now, whatever that's yakking at me there. Okay, so now I can open the folder. Where am I? There we go. Let's just open it. It's asking for my password again. Okay, that's because it's doing a connection into my home directory there. So if you look at this now, you see all that same stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm in VS Code from here, connected to that machine down there. I just opened up a little Python file here. This is my my directory down there on that machine. And I can pop open the terminal here. This terminal is connected down there.
Right.
And I could probably just run this. Oh, I wonder what. I'm not sure what my default version is right here. This is np test py. Oh, okay. Not with that one.
Oops. No module named NumPy.
Let's do this one.
Activate.
Anaconda 3. I think I called it that. Yeah.
Yay!
Okay. And let's run that. Oh, that's not going to output anything for a minute.
Oh, it's crunching some numbers in the background?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But anyway, I just wanted to point out that here's an alternative interface.
Rather than Jupyter.
So there's three basic things here. You've got an admin interface here. Mm-hmm. You've got Jupyter Hub serving multi-user Jupyter out there. That's a manageable server configuration, and then you can also just connect to this with VS Code and fire away, just like you were sitting down there at the office in front of on the machine.
Neat.
So, yeah, that is the stuff. That's the stuff. Admin, Jupyter Lab, and VS Code.
That's super cool.
And this is all on my Windows machine up here, running on a really quite nice machine down at the office.
Yeah, I think that's probably the coolest part is that, you don't have to, you can have your big monster machine anywhere, and you can still be doing work from anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, should I go ahead and switch back to you?
Sure, yeah.
Let's go ahead. Everybody okay with that demo?
Uh-huh. I think a few people came in a little late and weren't quite understanding what we were showing.
What are you doing?
Yeah. But I was explaining, that we were just watching Dr. Don demonstrate our new machine learning development server stack, and I think I explained it okay. It's a turnkey solution to give people an easy way to remotely access their machine learning workstations. I think I just did that.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Okay, now I'm back, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. This was an off-the-cuff live demo. Okay.
Haven't done any of that before.
Basically, it worked, right?
Yeah, it looked like it worked.
That's that may be deceptive, but that's actually a quite complicated setup there. And there's a lot of stuff on the roadmap for that I consider kind of essential into this. I mean, this is totally usable as it is right now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty useful. Multi-user, you've got, you can add any kind of development stuff you want into Jupyter Lab and fire it up, and you can take care of the machine easily with that admin interface. One thing that I really want to get added in there pretty soon is Docker.
Yeah.
And now the way that Jupyter Hub server is right now, it's serving, local stuff to users.
Right.
Okay. So that's launching
local to the Linux machine.
Yeah, that's launching these kernels, that's launching stuff that's directly installed on the machine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now with containers, and I've already done this. Docker is really problematic from an end user standpoint.
Okay.
It's really kind of ugly because everything is owned by root, and you
okay.
wind up with file conflicts. You fire up a container and then you save files in. You can mount your home directory into the Docker container, and then you can work in there. You do stuff, and then you save some files. You come out of there. It's owned by root. You don't even have control of your files. I mean, Docker is more intended not for end user friendliness.
Sure.
There's a step in the right direction, a thing called Podman. And
I remember you talking about that in the past.
Yeah, Podman is pretty cool. It's completely API. It's compatible with Docker in every way, and this takes care of some of the issues for user friendliness.
Okay.
But my favorite, and I love this, and I love these people. These are my buddies at NVIDIA.
Oh.
They're working on a project called NRoot.
Okay.
And that's fantastic. It's ideal for this because I can integrate Docker containers into that Jupyter Hub notebook.
Okay.
It's completely seamless. All of those things on there that were like TensorFlow and PyTorch and all that, that could just as easily be NVIDIA NGC TensorFlow.
Oh,
which is the Docker container from NVIDIA's cloud.
Right.
Their optimized version of TensorFlow, and exactly the same way. And you've just fired up. You go to work. It's your same directory. You own the files. Everything you do is yours.
Oh, neat.
Okay. So I love NRoot. NRoot is perfect for this kind of stuff. It's ideal for end users.
Oh, wow.
And it's also really problematic. Can be really problematic to. You can configure Jupyter Hub with Docker and Kubernetes and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, and people do that.
Okay.
But it's not very friendly on the end user side. Okay, and it's kind of a mess. Really, it's not all that pleasant. I mean, it works, right? But NRoot is ideal because it just integrates with the local stuff and containers, all mixed in, working the exact same way.
Oh, that's cool.
So that opens up a lot of really nice uses. And I love those guys at NVIDIA working on this. These are guys that go. Houston, remember when we were talking about Docker on the Twitch stream? These are those guys.
Early days. Was it Docker? I think it was called Docker 2 at the time. if I remember right. It was
Well,
it was
yeah,
still early Docker days, as I recall.
yeah, it was fairly early Docker days,
Yeah,
and but
that was
yeah, good
that was
stuff.
fun. I remember
Super
that
good
was
stuff.
good days. That's so neat. Right on.
Yeah,
Well, let me see
yeah.
if there's anybody have any questions here. Oh, someone had mentioned building an RPi4 cluster to run all that in my backpack with a Google AI GPU add-on USB thingy.
Sounds good. Hey, I tell you what, this is really pretty exciting. I um, okay, one of the things I had thought about demoing it, but I didn't do it. Intel's doing this stuff, one API.
Uh huh.
This is oh man, this is a big project by Intel. But they're integrating all these development tools and development environment into some kind of unified API.
Okay.
And I watched a webinar Wednesday on one aspect of this, their AI toolkit
Mhm.
as part of one API. And I actually installed that on here and fired it up. But and I will be doing this stuff, adding there's 3 kernels that I have on there right now, just kind of by default. But that could be 30 of them if I wanted.
Neat.
The thing is, it's kind of, I'm going to put an interface in there to let people pick and choose what they want on there, like global defaults.
Oh, okay.
I'll put a few on there that are like sensible, like Anaconda Python and TensorFlow for sure, and PyTorch.
Sure.
But then make it kind of a la carte, so you can add this stuff in a really easy way. But going forward, just kind of on as another use, and
Mhm.
Intel is they're on board with this project too. They're kind of excited
Oh, good.
about it. But that would be a way to use some of Intel's future stuff. Okay, well, they're going to have their own GPU. They're going to have their
Right.
own AI accelerators and stuff like that. This will be like a great interface for accessing that stuff.
Oh, neat.
And
Alright.
that's what I did. Actually, I fired it up last night and checked it out. It's still pretty early on that, and they don't have, it's CPU only at this point.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of the machine learning stuff that you would want to do, it's perfectly fine to be doing it on the CPU.
Okay.
It's those big training jobs, stuff like that,
Right.
the GPUs just kill.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and really, really, really looking forward to getting NVIDIA Ampere GPUs going on this stuff.
Ooh, sure, sure.
This and we'll offer this with our 8 GPU server too.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Um,
that's hardcore.
Yeah, and we'll be checking out the Ampere PCIe cards here
Mhm.
pretty soon.
Cool.
And one thing really cool about the Ampere stuff is those cards can be partitioned. So you
Oh.
can partition one GPU into like 7 virtual GPUs, as many as 7.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so they look like that many separate GPUs. So
Yeah.
if you've got something like that 8 GPU server, you could essentially have 56 GPUs on there that you could assign out to a class and give everybody their own GPU. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's like, oh man, and from what I've seen, the new NVIDIA GPU should really be killer.
That's great.
But there's new hardware coming down the pipe, and working with that stuff is going to be a challenge, and that's kind of that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to remove some of that barrier to usage.
Right.
And
Yeah. I mean, I can't. I'll admit I skimmed through some of your Jupyter Hub setup stuff and some of the other setup articles that you've written, and it is. It's difficult. It's complicated.
technical.
It's technical. Yeah.
It's
it
DevOps.
isn't-
It's
and-
DevOps. It's not trivial to set a lot of this stuff up, and even just setting up just a workable user environment on Windows, it can
Yeah.
be a nightmare, and people struggle to do that just because they want to try to learn and to do some machine learning stuff. They want to fire up TensorFlow, and they struggle. Okay, and if you there's if you follow like the guidance and stuff for that Google has up for TensorFlow, you just get yourself in a big mess.
Yeah.
Unless you really, really, really know what you're doing, and even then, it's not the ideal way to do it.
Right.
That's why that's part of the reason I'm doing this, is just to lower that barrier to usage and make things easier for people to do. And and that makes me personally feel really, really good.
Yeah.
To be able to help people to do stuff, because I've been hammering on system setups for a long, long time, and it has not changed.
Yeah, that's great.
Especially setting up development environments and stuff like that, it can be really a mess. And beginning users just get lost in it. So and then you throw Linux in on top of that. So if you can do something to make that an easier task for users too, then that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. We'll have a couple questions.
Okay.
First, in the NVIDIA Root, how is that spelt, and how can the audience find that?
It's ENROOT.
EN.
And
okay.
if you if you search for NVIDIA Root, you'll probably land on the GitHub page.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing first on the Google there.
Yeah,
copy
it's a
that.
great project. I really like what the guys are doing. I've set it up a few times. I've set it up with Jupyter Hub. That's probably the next major change that I'll make. That'll probably be the next release dot release.
Okay.
Will be adding container support with NRoot. I'll need to do some front end kind of work to make it easier to set up the container. It's pretty easy to set up containers, but I'll automate what has to be set up these kernels so they work in the interface the exact same way that everything else does.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
I think so.
Because those little icons that were on the Jupyter Hub interface, you click on that's TensorFlow. Okay,
Right.
that launches a notebook with that environment displayed with the notebook interface.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Now there's a little script in there that says, okay, do this and launch that and fire this up. So that has to be changed. There's some tools that do that kind of automatically. Mm-hmm. When I do that with NRoot, I have to create that little script custom.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's pretty straightforward. In fact, it was miraculously wonderful to work with, because it's almost impossible to do this. It's a huge pain to fire a Docker container up from there unless you're all in on Docker. Everything is Docker. So in a mixed environment, this is a real pain. But this, it's actually really nice because I can just fire off a single command that fires up the NRoot container that has that stuff in it, and it serves it right up onto the notebook.
Right on.
So, I'll put an interface in there so that to make it easier, so that stuff you don't have to dig into that configuration so much, by hand. It'll just be like, okay, little tool to add containers and container kernels to the notebook interface.
Right on. And then we had another question from Rob on YouTube, and this may or may not be applicable, but he's saying, I build apps in Elixir, which makes concurrent programs easy to build. Do you have content to help programmers like me assess bottlenecks in our apps? Should I be looking into Raspberry Pi clusters?
Whoa! What? Yes, you should be looking into Raspberry Pi clusters because they are awesome.
There you go. Just as a matter of course.
Yeah, hey, okay. I can't. I know about Elixir, but I don't know all the details there.
Okay.
But I'll just give you kind of a farther out on my roadmap.
Sure.
I may at some point I'll probably do this on Right now I'm doing it on single node servers.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but this can be extended out to clusters.
Ooh.
Okay, and in fact, this interface that are doing right here, this is basically what you would be interacting with if you logged into AWS,
Sure.
SageMaker, or Azure has a machine learning interface here that fires up and Google has their stuff. It's all really nice. It's basically essentially firing up Jupyter Hub.
Oh, okay.
I think there's more than one server thing, but Jupyter Hub's really kind of the default. So yeah, so those kind of interfaces that are available like in the cloud and stuff like that now, that's what this is.
Okay.
Okay, so and that stuff can be set up to run like on Kubernetes, to run on big clusters and extend out, and even hybrid, local and remote server.
Whoa.
There's a lot of stuff. It gets more and more complicated for setting that stuff up.
Sure.
But so this is a first step here on single node servers for small groups.
Sure.
Okay, you can stretch it quite a ways because hardware is really, really capable these days.
Right.
If you're really pushing the edge, really pushing the limits on the hardware access that you need, this might be something that you use personally.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just monopolize. So you're the only one cranking away on that system, but maybe that system is being housed down at the office, so you don't have to mess with it.
That's
right?
the coolest thing.
But this could still be your system that you're working from home, and cranking away on that with a nice interface.
Yeah.
That was easy to set up. So that's kind of the idea there.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people use this. It'll be really neat to hear, and maybe do some case studies and stuff. It'll be really interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, I hope people pick it up. And it'll be public at some point. It's evolving to a big project.
I love it. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, I think we've reached around our hour mark here. So, if there's any last few questions, get them in now. But otherwise, I think we will say goodbye and thank you for joining us today, Dr. Don. It's always so cool to see what you're up to and getting to see a little bit more about how all this really, how it all really works. One thing I feel like we don't often talk about when you and I get into the scientific computing thing is I feel like people misinterpret AI and machine learning and scientific computing in general, especially AI. I know that that's one of those kind of abrasive terms that because it's not intelligent really. It's very, very specific, very, very narrow. It does
training
good
models.
So it's always good to kind of get a little broader look at how it all works and behind the scenes, because it's cool to see the results. Is this a hot dog? Is that a cat? Or is that cancer? But to see what goes into those results is really interesting. So.
Yeah, the people that are doing that stuff, and that's my main motivation. I want to help people to do their work.
Right.
That's been kind of my driving force for a long time.
And this feels like a big thing that's going to help a lot of people to just more easily get their work done. I think this is super. So thank you. Thank you.
And I'll be doing more stacks. I'll be doing more of this kind of thing too.
Cool.
So that's kind of my thing now going forward. So
right on. Oh, well, cool. Thank you for the work, and thank you for joining us today. And thank you to the audience for joining us as well. We do this every Wednesday and Friday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Wednesdays we bring industry experts on to talk about their workflow and their particular area of expertise. And then on Fridays we bring a member of our labs team on to kind of do the same thing, give a little peek behind the curtain of what they're working on and that crossover between hardware and software. And so thank you for joining us, and thank you, Don, for taking time out of your day. And we'll see you guys next time. Mark your calendar, Wednesday.